My guests today are filmmakers Abdelrahman Dnewar and Abdallah Dnewar, and both are filmmakers. And Abdelrahman Dnewar is a filmmaker from Egypt who is based in Berlin, Germany. He started his film career in 2012 when his first animated short film, The Super Twins, was selected by the Ghetto Film School in Los Angeles to be shown at their section in the Sundance Film Festival. Now, Abdallah Dnewar is also an Egyptian filmmaker who started his career as a writer. He reviewed books at Ahram Online in 2010, after which he published his first collection of short stories titled Before You Commit Suicide in 2011. He then worked as a scriptwriter-director on two short films, Something Nice in 2014 and Temporary in 2018. Now, they are here today to discuss their award-winning animated short film, My Brother, My Brother. So let's welcome filmmakers Abdelrahman and Abdallah Dnewar to the show. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi, uh, nice to be here.
Hey, it's great. Now, I have to ask because after watching this film and realizing that both of you have the same last name, are you twin brothers?
No, not really. Actually, like it's the twin brother was the co-director on the film. My late twin brother Saad, and Abdullah is my older brother. He's the producer. So yeah, it was like a lot of family members, let's say, involved in the production.
I love that. I love that. I really love this film. I could understand this film because I am an identical twin.
Really?
So so watching this film, I could really relate uh, to Omar and Wissam. And so tell me, where did the idea of this story come from? And is this based on a true story?
Yes, I mean it's I would say it's autofiction, and I started working on this with my twin brother Saad some years ago, and in the beginning it was more it started like from conversations, I would say. Like I was in Berlin, he was still in Egypt, and we were talking a lot about our past and the moments that we found quite pivotal or like interesting, and it we found it also interesting how we had different recounts of each event. So it was like very little details that would change here and there. And then, yeah, like this whole idea of a narrative about the subjectivity of memory and twinhood, like, like sharing your life from the beginning with someone who's very similar. And yeah, like it took a while. Like we started working on it and then stopped for a while. Then Abdullah joined the project, and we finished it last year, and it's now like in festivals and on Arte for streaming.
Well, I love how the film starts with the narrative about how some childhoods are remembered through video and others are remembered through our memories. Uh, and that was basically my childhood. There was only photos and memories back in the day. There wasn't really any video. Why was it important to the overall beginning of the story?
Um, it was in a way like the reason why this story came to be, right? Because like it's it came from a lack of archive. It came from a lack of like photographs or any kind of record, and I think this is why we started with the flat and the very few photographs that we had that were quite peculiar, I would say, or like surreal even. And yeah, since we were kids, like we were drawing a lot, and we were coming up with all these different interpretations of the world. Like kids always like ask existential questions and come up with, I would say, more interesting answers than the real ones. And I think that's exactly what we wanted to do. Like we wanted to to fill like the gap with animations and our own interpretations and even different recounts, you know.
Yeah, we're going to get into the animation here in a bit because I loved how you created a hybrid version of doing that. Now, Abdullah, what intrigued you about wanting to produce this short film?
Well, I guess at first when I read the script, it was a little bit weird to read something about a life that I have witnessed uh, for both of them, and then it was like, okay, I have seen this before, but not in these details. The way both of them write their parts, it was really interesting because the details, emotions, and how a split narrative told the story was really amusing to me. I never read a script like that before, and the way they told me how they want to execute it, how to make the animation make the story driven was really amazing. So I thought, yeah, let's do it. It's gonna be a great film, and I was proud that I joined the project in early stages.
Well, let me ask you then. Many people think that twins have some special telepathic communication skill. Um, it could be a look, it could be a silent understanding. I've had friends notice it when my brother and I are together. Do you notice that with twins?
Definitely, like all the time. Like even when they have a fight similar to in the film, it's like they both know exactly how the other one feels. It was something magical I always witnessed.
It took me a while because I watched this film. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. I think I've watched this film 4 or 5 times. And because I really wanted to understand the relationship between the two twin brothers. And the more I watched it, it kept reminding myself of me and my brother and the way that we communicate. So, um, Abdulrahman, do you feel you have that special telepathic skill with your brother?
I mean, there was definitely something special. Like, I would say at one point, and I don't have an explanation for it. I don't know if it's telepathy or something else, but when you share like this worldview with someone from a very early stage, you start having similar thoughts. And I think what makes you the human or the person that you are is the little differences in the thoughts, you know. And I think I started noticing this at a later point, like the differences between me and my twin brother when his friends would point out how he would do something slightly different than me, or and I found something about it really beautiful because it really what makes him, you know, like we're very similar, but yet like we're also different, you know.
No, I completely understand. And I've heard, friends and family say something to me or my brother because they can see there's that special communication skill that most people don't have. And of course it happens because we're growing up side by side since birth, so there's always that special communication there. Now, there was a scene in this film that I found kind of humorous because I completely related to it, and that was the schoolyard scene. And to where I would get in trouble for something my twin did, and you portrayed that exact story in this film. Did that happen to you?
Quite often, actually, like it's it's this thing of yeah, like sharing a face with someone, so you share the accountability for each other's actions, and yeah, like it's the thing of being a twin, like that you can always play each other, also even if you don't want to.
Did you ever switch places?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, been there and done that too, so I know exactly what you mean. And so let's get into some of this hybrid animation. And so, Abdullah, you can jump in here because to tell you the truth, The animation in this film was so good that every time I would start the film over to watch it again, that opening scene where with the wheelchair, I always had to pause it to look very closely because I knew the curtain was real. Was that whole scene live action, or was there any element of that actual animation?
Uh, that the first sequence is all like real. We shot in a flat that is similar to the memories that Abdurrahman explained on the script. Like we put exact elements that he worked hard on the references and how to, like the carpet, the old toys, the wheelchair, everything. And then we jumped into the animation mixed with the live action. But the thing I liked the most in the work Abdurrahman did, that he always wanted to be like, we can't know exactly if this is animation or if it's real. So we focused on that, on the animation and on the coloring of the real life footage. So sometimes you see something in the background and you can't tell for sure if this is a painting or if it's real life. So that was intentional decision from Abdel in the production, and I really like the results we had from it.
I loved it. And the number one reason why I loved this hybrid version of animation that you used in this film was that it kept my focus on the characters throughout the film. If it was the twin brothers, if it was the father, if it was the mother, I was always focused on the story. But then I would go back because I wanted this to look at some of the background elements. And you are absolutely correct. Some of the background elements, sometimes you're thinking, is that real or is that some form of animation? I just thought the whole idea of using animation and live action or a real setting was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. It's so nice to hear this from you. Really, like it means a lot. And yeah, like this was the decision also that Saad made early on. That like my twin brother wanted a cinematic form that captures this elusivity of memory, like like this confusion, whether it's real or not. And I think this is what we strived for. So I'm happy it was like it made this impression.
Oh, absolutely. Well, tell me how you actually achieved it. I mean, did you go out to, I don't know, did you video or did you photograph all of the background shots so that way when the animation came in, I guess you'd have to adjust the animation to the background. So how was that actually achieved?
It was actually like the work was done, like some of it was planned that we would, for example, as you said, like we shoot the backgrounds and not just photographs, like we even film it, like video if there are trees that are moving. And we would have stand-ins, like not exactly like always actors, like we would have someone, for example, and they cast a shadow somewhere, and then we would try either to use the shadow or mimic it while we animate to follow the same logic of the real material. Sometimes we added a lot actually. We did this, that we would also retouch the backgrounds, as Abdullah said, or color grade it in a way that would also somehow fit the animation. So it was a process of adjusting both. Like they were both reacting to each other, I would say.
Yeah, because one of the areas, well, of course I know that the background with the car was video. I know when the two brothers were sitting on the hillside facing the city, I could see the traffic moving down the highway. And I just thought the whole concept was just simply brilliant. And I can just say that over and over again because I just love this film because for the audience, it just keeps the attention on the story. Now, I have a question because well, I have a few questions actually. In the scene when the brothers had gone to bed, and one had a dream, and I'm not going to mention the dream because I don't want to give anything away. So he had a dream, but he didn't want to mention the dream because it's considered a bad dream. So in I don't know, is it in within Muslim tradition that you don't uh, voice a bad dream out in the open?
Yeah, actually, like it's something also that we learned in our particular way of, or my family's particular way of understanding Islam, because there are also like different ways of practicing, like the Shia, Sunnah. There's so many also within each like sect. There's so many other variations, so it's common. I would say it's very common to not say bad dreams, because then you kind of manifest them, or you know, allow them to happen, like in the material world. And yeah, like it's always good to say good dreams, for example. So this is the how it goes, you know, like you avoid saying the bad dreams to avoid them happening, and you say the good dreams.
Now, in the scene when the two brothers, when the father left, and they got the key to his office, was that something that you did, or that you and your brother did?
Quite a lot, actually. Like it was it's funny because it's also, it has a lot to do with the genesis of the film, I would say, because it's um yeah, like my family was also like very particular about the kind of material you can consume as a kid. So we were not allowed to watch certain kinds of films, or like, you know, like every question, like about, for example, how babies are made, or all of these things, where we always got like these silencing answers that didn't really answer our question. It ignited more curiosity, and I think we got the answers this way. And in the beginning also of getting interested in art or drawing, it was through anatomy books and MRIs and X-rays. You know, like we would just go there and look at these medical images that are just produced for the sake of diagnosis, but we found something about it beautiful and fascinating, and then we would start replicating that. So I think yeah, like it's definitely a real comes from reality, I would say.
Well, one of the things I noticed, which I thought was a very little cool factor. So when both of the brothers had asked the mother, you know, basically asking the question, where do babies come from? Um, then when they went into their father's office to look around, and they were looking at one of the medical books, I noticed that the book that was open as they were sitting on the floor was showing the medical picture of the female uterus, and that was done on purpose.
Of course, yeah. I'm so glad that that you saw it, because I was wondering if people notice it. Like also, like it's this very little thing. So it's yeah.
Well, I've got a doctorate degree in health, so the moment I saw the book open and looked down, I knew exactly what they were looking at. And so when I saw it, I went, ah, that goes back to their curiosity of wondering where babies come from when they were talking to the mother. So I thought that whole transition from scene to scene was done so perfectly. Now, I don't want to give I don't want to give this film away because I want to be very, very careful here, but I do know that in the synopsis or the log line that you know, one of the brothers um, well, meets his maker. So my question is, and it took me a while to figure that out because I loved how so subtle you brought the ending of the film into view, because it does, because a lot the audience doesn't know exactly know what's going on at the very end. And I have to ask, the woman at the end of the film who is standing off to the side, was she reminiscent of an angel?
No, this was the like the mother, like our mom. Like it was also coming from this. So like there was like some scenes in the beginning when she was leaving the flat and always putting the burqa before she leaves, because my mom was wearing a burqa. And I think it was like the decision also came from my brother Saad, that she would wear the burqa as an indication that she's going. And also because after my mom passed away, there was a time, it happened to us also as kids, that anyone who resembles her figure in a way and is wearing a burqa, you feel for a sec, we get confused, you know, like you feel like you're glimpsing your mom crossing the street, even though she's not there anymore, at different stages of her life. So we remember her in different ways, in that silhouette in a way. And that was the idea, that that moment that happens 2 times in the film comes back again one last time, and she's actually leaving, you know.
Well, I just thought the whole film was completely beautiful, and uh, with this film, it is an award-winning film. What has been the overall? Well, let me ask you, Abdallah, what has been the overall response to this film at the film festivals?
Uh, I think we like receive different feedback every day. Like sometimes my co-producer or Abdel send me an email from an audience in different country, which is, yeah, festivals are great for the film, but what really makes the difference, that people from different cultures or from different countries love the story or understand it, while it's very authentic to a specific culture that have symbols that might be not very visible from the film. But we like that audience all around the world understand the film and feel the emotions in the film and get attached to it. So I think we're blessed by the audience more than even the festivals, the feedback from them, and we're really happy that like every couple of days we receive a new selection in a festival. Right now, I think we are in the five continents. I think it's 43 selection now, Abdel.
Yeah, like since we started it, it's so far 43 film festivals, and this month it is screening in 11 film festivals in 10 different countries. So as Abdullah said, it was really great to get this like very diverse reaction, like, you know, from different cultures, different languages, and there was a lot of elements in the film that resonated in different ways. So and most importantly, which is what I'm happy about and I'm excited about it also, is that the audiences who happen to be in the festivals from Egypt or from Arabic countries, they really resonated with the film as well. I think this is also something very important when you make a film um, in your cultural framework and then you present it to festivals all over the world. This has to be also in a way very local and very true to what you're showing. So I was really happy that it worked both ways, because our priority was to stay authentic and not really try to please or appeal to certain, you know, like festivals, and it worked somehow, that the film also still went to our favorite festivals, and yeah, we're very glad.
Well, see, this is why I love film, and this is why I love short films, because there's tens of thousands of short films that come in from all over the world. I love the fact of films like this one where, and this is the great thing about this film, because this film isn't just Egyptian. It's not just Muslim. This is a story about two brothers that it doesn't matter what country you're from, what culture, what religion, everybody can relate to the story of this film. And that's what I love about it, because when I get to see films like this, I get to learn from people like both of you. I get to learn about another culture. I like to learn what other people are thinking or how they perceive a story and put it on film. And this is just one of those films that I just keep going back to because there's just so much to see, to learn, and understand. So with My Brother, overall, what would you like the audiences to take away once they see it?
I think actually one big takeaway is just what you said, that the audience would go back to the film, because one of the main intentions we had was to work with the audience memory. That you start watching the film, you see the same locations, they repeat again with minor adjustments or different angles, and you challenge that memory later on. So it functions in a way like this, and going back to it is exactly how it's intended to be watched. So I think this is one big thing. The other thing, of course, is yeah, like as I said, like to present this personal aspect in a human way with all of its like dark humor, but also tender moments, and yeah, and capture this abstract feeling, I would say, of twinship. Because it's also, there is a lot of abstraction in the film and about certain ideas, and I hope it has like some sort of impression on the audience.
Well, I have one question. So you're going to have to explain to me the reason why. What's up with the hippo in the film?
That's a funny story. Yeah. So this photo in the beginning of the film in the zoo, where the whole family is there and just me and my brother have our backs turned to the cage. For a very long time, we thought it was the monkey cage. Like we were trying to remember, like what the hell was happening. Like why were we not looking at the camera, and why were we like so immersed in what's happening behind? And then right before shooting the film, one of our line producers, Karim and Amal, they went to the zoo and they found the exact same spot where this photo was taken. It also, we shot there again this like fictional scene in the end of the film with the zoo, and we realized it's the hippo cage. It's not the monkeys. So it's again this thing of the memory, like that this hippo comes as a as this distant memory, and it's like a little bit confusing. And then you realize in the end that this is what the photo was about. This relationship, like being just sucked into one interest and like not paying attention to the rest.
Gentlemen, I love that. I love the idea of this film being past and present. There's just so much to watch and understand. And yes, even the film is entertaining. It's also a learning process. Now, is this film now Oscar qualified?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, but we need to like work on that.
Like it is, it won in San Francisco the Golden Gate Award, which was actually quite great for us, because I think it's as far as I know, was the only Egyptian short that won this award. So we are Oscar qualified for sure. And yeah, it's a matter of now, like it's a lot, like we're waiting, like to see if we're lucky enough to, yeah, like we will see, like, yeah, it's a long process, I would say.
Yeah, I go ahead.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I know that the Oscar campaigns can be a very long process, but I just love the fact that My Brother is absolutely worthy of being Oscar qualified. We will see what happens when it comes to the short list, but film makes the world a much smaller place, and where we can learn from one another. And ladies and gentlemen, My Brother is an auto-fiction animation film that explores the complexities of a past shared by two identical twins, Omar and Wessam. Now, a split narrative retells the two sides of their memories, from the instant they were fused together in their mother's womb to the moment they are parted by the tragic death of one of them. Tied together by the twins' confusion about their existence, a fragmented world of memories and dreams emerges, blurring the lines between reality and fiction, present and past. Now, the film brings us a hybrid version of animation, part live action. but in setting only. The blend is so seamless that your eyes may not tell the difference between the two different elements, which goes back to the overall storyline. Reality, fiction, blurring the lines, and the animation brings this to us. And that the blend is so seamless that your eyes may not even, again, tell the difference between the two elements. It actually helps the audience to truly focus on the story of the twins. And with that, the film My Brother, has achieved its ultimate goal. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for sharing this incredible film with me today and discussing it.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you so
also
much.
for thoroughly watching the film and giving it your attention.
Yeah.
It's
And
an
thank you
honor.
for sharing these details. Like I'm really happy that you saw that tiny details on the film. It was a pleasure.
Oh, well, I was honored to watch it, but I was completely amazed on about this film, not just the storyline, but the animation and the realism of the backgrounds. I mean, I would literally sit there and I would pause the scenes so I could look at the animation and how it was placed on the real background. And I mean, even down to the point to where you would see the two brothers sitting on the hillside, but where you're seeing their faces. And I'm even looking down, looking at his foot being rest upon a rock. And I just thought the whole thing was great.
Thank you so much. Really, so nice to hear this.
You're very, very welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, if you are at a film festival and my brother is at that film festival, make sure you are sitting in the theater to watch an amazing animated short film, I should call an hybrid version of animation that, just like me, you will fall in love with. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch all of the Bond on Cinema interviews at bondoncinema.com. Check out our Prime show, our YouTube channel, and yes, you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Audible, and more. And remember, you're either going to see me at the movies or from the red carpet.